I'm going to talk to you briefly here about who you are, the origin of that which you see in your physical body. Your origin is vibration. You came into this time-space reality from non-physical. Now that's easy for you to figure out because you've been thinking about dead or alive. You've been thinking about heaven. You've been thinking about non-physical. And we want you to understand that you are always consciousness, which means you are an eternal being. And that non-physical consciousness existed long before the consciousness of you in this personality that you know as you. But here's the thing that most humans don't remember. Even after a part of the consciousness that was you before your birth into this body, even before that consciousness took form and shape in this physical body, that non-physical energy understood why you were coming forth, who you were, who you are. That non-physical energy understood that there is no separation, no way of separating the non-physical from the physical. So the non-physical vantage point that you held before you decided to come into this body understood that in your body you would be an extension of this source energy. An extension, not an either or, an extension. You understood that a part of your consciousness would be present in the personality that you know as you, but the larger part of that consciousness would remain non-physically focused. You knew that non-physically you would project part of that awareness forward, just like here you are in this room today, but it surely does not represent all that you are. You're here attending the seminar, but you are so much more in this physical personality. And so as you are here in this physical body, you are so much more also. Now that you are here in this physical body, you have, if you will consciously think about it, a relationship that is perceivable between the physical aspect of you and the non-physical aspect of you. And the reason you can perceive these two vibrational attitudes is because you have emotions that indicate your relationship between you and you. Now, we talk about you and you because we want you to understand who you really are. But our ultimate desire is that you will come, even as a result of the time that we spend together here today, to understand that you and you are you, and that there is no reason to separate the non-physical you from the physical you. In fact, the non-physical you never separates you from you. So here you are in this physical body. And let's say you're banging around in some contrast. And as you are living that contrast, you wisely deduct or conclude that there is an unwanted aspect to what you are perceiving. And in the moment that you focus your attention upon what is not wanted, you also simultaneously offer a vibrational rocket that is focused upon what you do want. In other words, you cannot for a moment poke around at a problem, bringing the problem into greater and greater focus. You know how it is. The more you talk about it, the more information you get about it. The bigger it gets, the easier it is to see, the more others join you. In other words, you poke around at a problem, it is going to expand. Law of attraction says that it must. But the good news is, at the same time this problem is expanding, an equivalent solution is expanding too. But you can't set your radio dial frequency to the problem and the solution at the same time. So while your dial's set on the problem, you are expanding the universe, because the more you know what you don't want, the more what you do want is formed. That's why wellness expands because of attention to illness. That's why economy expands because of attention to shortage. In other words, you just can't be part of the problem without being part of the solution at the same time. The evolution of all species is about this other side of the wave. The wave, did you hear us? Every particle of the universe contains within it wanted and unwanted, equal parts of it. So the more you focus, the more you cause an expansion of the universe. Now, the important thing for you to understand is that when you're focused upon the problem, and of course you are not always focused upon the problem, but let's say you're doing it now, as you're focused upon the problem and the solution is becoming, the non-physical part of you is standing there with the solution. And we are saying that that solution that is now known by the larger part of you is inside this vortex where well-being is gathered, where wanting is gathered, where expansion is understood. So what we're saying to you in a little different words than you've heard us offer to you before is that while you sift through the details of your time-space reality, you cause an expansion of the universe, and the non-physical part of you takes the expansion that you've carved out and holds it steady as the bouncing off place for new ones coming in, and as a sort of guiding light for you to tune your signal to. And the way you tune your signal to it is by feeling for it. We want you to adore the contrast. We all do. Some of you might say, well, sure, Abraham, you adore our contrast. Our contrast on which you get expansion. I think I get why you would like our contrast. We do. But we've come to help you like it too. We want you to understand that when contrast causes that expansion, that the most joyful experience of life, whether it is us living it or you living it, is moving into that new expansion. And we do it fast and quick. We do it instantaneously, and you can too. You don't have to linger in a justifying attitude. You don't have to explain to anyone why you would prefer that over this. But you do have to stop beating the drum of what you do not want, which was the catalyst that gave birth to the expanded version of you. We have a piece of knowledge that we also want you to have, and that is, while you are the creator of the physical trappings that surround you, you are the creator, attractor of every bit of that. The most important thing that we want you to understand is that you are the creator of you. And you are more than the you that you have been taking credit for. You are the creator of the expansion of that which is you. Now, don't get us wrong. We're in this together. In other words, the non-physical version of you is in on this too. But you are the pioneer. You're out here on the leading edge. You're sifting through the big time contrast, and you're coming to the new conclusions. And when you do, we choose the new conclusion that you have arrived at while you linger. And it is our desire that instead of lingering over there in the out of the vortex dumb, that you come with us, that you come more readily, that you tune yourself to the frequency of who you really are, that you tune yourself to the frequency of your furthest most expanded conclusions and desires, so that you can, while you're in these physical bodies, live the exhilaration of keeping up with who life is causing you to become. The balance of your planet is in good hands. Jerry and Esther have a house on the hill over here, and they've been enjoying so much looking out in the direction of the Pacific Ocean. And they could see some of the ocean, but not much. There was a big tree, a very big tree, a fan-like tree, a protected tree, a loved by many tree, blocking their view and the view of several people around them. And so a man that they purchased their house from said to them, we've been trying to convince that man that he should let us feather it out or maybe even take it down. The tree seems dangerous. Occasionally something falls off of it. And he said, but we have tried. We formed a committee and we've asked and we've begged. And Jerry said, well, maybe we could bribe. And so Jerry offered. He didn't use those words, but it means the same thing. He offered money, a lot of money. And the man said no. He had already developed his pattern of resistance. He didn't like people up on the hill bossing him around. And he didn't care whose view his tree was blocking. And he watered it every day, and every day it got a little taller. And so Jerry and Esther said, of course, that's right. It's his property. He should not be compelled to do something he doesn't want to do. We just wondered if we could make it mutually beneficial, if he would like to play with us. But we understand. And they left it alone. And then he sold his house. And so Jerry and Esther sent an emissary to ask him if he would like to maybe remove the tree in order to sell his house. It might give it more curb appeal because the tree was making a big mess and such, and he still was very resistant, and so they let it go again. And then someone new moved into the house, and so Jerry and Esther sent their emissary again. Very knowledgeable landscape architect who described what the place could look like, and these people were not interested. And Jerry and Esther understood. And so they just kept standing on their deck and appreciating the view that they could see and appreciating the perspective of the owners of the tree, truly. And then one night, while Jerry and Esther were not here, a hurricane blew through. And a big piece of that tree fell on their neighbor's house. And now this man is begging Jerry and Esther to take the tree down because now it needs to come down. There are children around. The tree is posing a danger. And Jerry and Esther said, of course. Of course. We made you the offer before. We are happy to honor the offer. So the permit was filed. It was agreed upon because of the danger of the tree. A magnificently efficient tree company came and in one day took the tree down. You can't even tell it was ever there. And now there is a magnificent view of the ocean. And Jerry and Esther were sitting and looking at it. And Esther said, it's like the seas have parted. It's that feeling of this opened. They bought this lot to park their bus and then remodeled the house and love it more than anything else. And now the view is opened still further off into infinity. So Esther is sitting on the deck the other day and she spotted another tree. And being the fun-loving being that she is, she said, all right, friends, do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? She is only kidding, and we are only having fun with her fun. But we're wanting you to understand that when things work at their best, they are always mutually beneficial for everyone involved. And when you are in alignment with your desire, and your desire is maybe to have a better view, but your desire is also to honor the needs and requests of others, and your desire is also to honor nature, and your desire is also to be in harmony in your neighborhood, and your desire is also to be in alignment. In other words, you hold many desires, all of which are spinning in your vortex of creation. And when you don't use something that isn't going your way as your reason to hold yourself outside the vortex. When you bask and appreciate and love life around the things that aren't perfect for you in every moment, so that you let what is working be the basis of the reason that you offer your vibration, then what happens is you are frequently inside the vortex where the universe orchestrates circumstances and events for the accommodation of all who are involved. We're not kidding you about this. You can have everything you want without depriving anyone else of anything, because you live in a balanced enough universe that everything that you want is easily accommodatable by those who surround your object of attention. But unless you get in the vortex where who you really are and what you really want is, you will not see the path. You will not be there at the right time. You will not be a vibrational match to the unfolding that allows things to happen the way they need to happen.